Hello, my name is Heather Jeter, and I'm the Director of College Counseling here at the Steward School.
And my name is Haley Warham, and I'm a senior from the class of 2021.
A couple of weekends ago, Haley and I presented a program online for prospective Steward students and their parents.
This presentation includes 10 tips and tricks to help you with the transition between middle school and high school, and it will also help you during your college application process.
Thank you so much for being with us today.
And thank you for considering the Steward School.
The first tip that we have is to care about your GPA. There is nothing more important than your GPA when it comes to applying to colleges. Not your standardized test scores, not your extracurricular life, not your letters of recommendation. While they're important, none of them are more important than your GPA. And what a lot of students in ninth grade don't realize is that the GPA pie, so to speak, is a 6-slice pie. You'll have semesters 1 and 2 of ninth grade, 1 and 2 of 10th grade, and 1 and 2 of 11th grade. But you might be thinking to yourself, intelligently, what about 12th grade? As Haley can tell you, you make applications to college in the fall of senior year, and we don't send your first semester grades until February of your senior year. So you really do only have 6 semesters if you're going to be asking colleges to make a decision about your application before, say, February or March of your senior year. And here's the thing, most colleges do make decisions before then.
As you can see in the diagram, everything is weighted the same amount. So you need to be putting in as much effort to do your best in your academics in your freshman year as you would in your junior year. I would just recommend in every class that you take to just go in with the mindset of doing your best, because one day your junior yourself or your senior yourself when you're applying to college will really thank you for it.
Ninth grade matters, that it's 1/3 of that GPA pie for college admissions, and forming that good foundation makes the next 2 years of the pie a lot easier to build. There's so many elements to organization, but these are 2 of my favorite little tricks. The first one is to buy these really simple plastic luggage tags, take out the insert and make your own. And make it a list of everything that you need to pack in your book bag for every day. Because these are plastic, you can write on them. So you could use a dry erase marker to just go down the list and tick the things off. That way, you're not having to call mom, dad, whomever to come and bring you your lunch or bring you your homework, because before you leave the house, you look at the list. Another tip about organization is to buy these 3-hole punches. A lot of students swear by these. You put them into your 3-ring binders, and yes, paper handouts are still a thing. So as soon as you get a handout or as soon as you get a paperback, you can 3-hole punch it and put it straight into that binder so that your book bag doesn't look like a bomb exploded inside of it. Students who are organized are able to be more effective, more efficient, and tend to have much higher grades.
In addition, I really recommend having a planner. The great thing about Steward is they actually provide you a planner every single year, and you can see dates for big Steward events. It breaks everything down by subject, which is really nice. But if that style of planner doesn't work for you, there's some variation amongst the planners that you can see in the stores. And I think in order to stay organized, it's really important to find what works the best for you. So I have my own planner because in addition to scheduling a lot of my academic life, I like to schedule my extracurricular life in there and all the different responsibilities that come with that. So I would say it's really important to start building those habits of keeping yourself organized early. And I actually make a Google Doc at the beginning of every single school year to keep myself organized on my digital platforms. I like to take the individual links for all of my classes and put them into one place, so I'm not constantly having to navigate that huge spreadsheet whenever I just need to check the syllabus for my class.
Organization doesn't have to be color-coded and elaborate and with stickers and charts and swirlies. It can just be a running list of things. And on your phone is a great place to keep it because most students really like their phone. And so you're going to have that with you and not lose it, and therefore not lose your to-do list. Tip number 3, learn how to study effectively. So the important word here is effectively. I'll often have students come to me and say, I studied for 3 hours for that test and I cannot believe I didn't get an A. Well, then we sit down and we talk about how much of that time were they actually studying. And it turns out, added all together, probably only about a half an hour. There are a lot of ways that you can learn how to study effectively. And one of my favorites is this method. You're going to give your phone to a parent or guardian after you set the timer, and I recommend that you set it for 20 minutes. You then are focused and intentional about studying for 20 minutes. Then you're going to reset the timer for 10 minutes, and you can do whatever you want to do. Go to the bathroom, get a snack, take a walk, whatever it is you want to do. But as soon as that timer goes off again, you are back at it for another 20 minutes. And every night you dedicate at least 3 sessions, 3 rounds of those 20 minutes, separated by 10 minutes of break. Our brain loves to learn in bursts, separated by rest. So if you can train your brain to do this, then you don't have to use the timer anymore. But just for your knowledge, it usually takes about 3 months for our brains to develop a habit. So you'll have to do this for a while.
I love this method. I use it all the time, especially when I'm just having one of those days where I'm really having difficulty staying focused. Some days you're going to feel really motivated and everything is going to be coming to you really easily. And then there are going to be other days as well where it's just going to be a bit more of a struggle to stay focused. So I think knowing how to adjust, for instance, I usually study at my desk and that's kind of my consistent study space. But then if I find that I'm having trouble focusing, either going outside or maybe going to the library or just kind of varying my environment can really help a lot.
I think it's also important to note that effective is going to mean a different thing for each person. Some students need to listen to music while they work. I can't imagine doing so because I need utter quiet to learn and to study. But the important thing is if you're going to use a playlist, you set it beforehand and then you don't touch it while you're studying. Obviously, learning how to manage your time and learning how to study effectively and being organized are all skills that are not only going to help you in high school, but especially are going to help you in college when you no longer have mom, dad, or another helpful adult there to guide you. Tip number 4, learn when to ask for help. So the great thing about Steward's Upper School, there are many great things, but I'm biased. There are so many people who are here and ready and excited to help you. Our Dean of Student Support loves to sit down with students and help them develop plans to get themselves organized and efficient.
I've been at Steward since I was in 1st grade, so I've kind of seen this all throughout my life here. There's really just no shortage of support wherever you go. And I always find that looking to my advisor is really helpful if I'm either struggling with a subject or just like having a bad day and I just need to talk to someone. In addition to that, just really every single teacher that I've had in the upper school has always made me feel really supported. And whenever I was struggling with a class, they were always willing to put in the extra 110% to come in during office hours, or depending on what my extracurricular life was looking like, they'd be willing to meet with me after school as well and establish an email communication, check their inboxes frequently. Just know that whatever you're going through, if you're struggling with one of your classes or there's something in your personal life that you're struggling with, all the teachers in the upper school are really there for you.
So our graduates come back and tell us that they have no problem talking to adults. At Steward, you talk to your teachers all the time. So not just when you need help, but you're going to see them constantly in the halls. You're going to see them coming out to your games if you're athletes, or to your shows if you're in the theater. Our teachers are very much a part of our community and staff. So then when you go to college, you're able to self-advocate with your professors. You're able to go and ask for help as soon as you need it instead of waiting until you need it really desperately. So that's just an important skill that we help you to grow. Tip number 5, get to know your teachers. So from my perspective as the director of college counseling, this is especially important because you're going to need 2 of them at least to write letters of recommendation for your college applications. And those letters need to be a very strong representation of the relationship that you've built with your teachers. And like I just said, those relationships are particularly easy to build here, but you have to do your part to build them.
One thing I've always really appreciated about my teachers is if I walk into class one day and they can see that I'm feeling a little bit stressed, they are always so quick to ask me if I'm okay, if there's something that they can do to help me. And I think that as much as they are giving to you, it's really important to give back to them. And even if that's just when you're writing emails to them, making sure you always start with something really nice and positive, or like asking how their day was, or if you see them in the hallways, not being shy and just going up to talk to them. I think that establishes a really good rapport, and that will help you establish a really strong relationship with all your teachers.
Tip number 6. So this is a really significant one, folks. You want to be busy, but not too busy. Colleges want to see that you have had a really robust extracurricular life.
The great thing about freshman year is it's really built as that time where you can try a lot of different new things. So when you go to the club fair, you can sign up for a bunch of different clubs and find those certain activities that are going to be really fulfilling for you and that you could really see yourself continuing into your junior and senior years. As you start entering your sophomore, junior, and senior years, start tapering that list until you find maybe the one activity that you really enjoy, or like the 3 or 4 activities that you find the most fulfilling and enjoyable.
It's important to note that there are usually 2 types of student when it comes to extracurriculars. One is the specialist. So for example, if soccer is your thing, you play soccer for Steward, you play soccer for a travel team, you help to coach a soccer team for little kids, maybe you volunteer with a soccer related organization, that would be a specialist. A generalist is someone who dabbles in a lot of things, but who has some clear threads, some strands of interest that make sense when you look at their extracurricular resume. So that resume is something that we will help you to put together in your junior year in Junior College Seminar, which is a class that you take with the staff of the College Counseling Office. And then you have us again for class first semester of senior year. Our focus really turns to filling out your actual applications, writing those essays, getting those letters of recommendation. Tip number 7, take good risks. Now, obviously, the operative word here is good. We want you to try things. If you've never thought of auditioning for a musical, we want you to do it. If you've never played lacrosse and you're thinking, it could be fun, we want you to go out for the team. We want you to try everything that you're inclined to try and not feel like you're already put in this box that you have to adhere to. One of the great things about Steward's community is that we're very open to people trying new things.
It can be really easy to be intimidated by some of those more difficult classes when you're in your freshman and sophomore years, but it's important to try to push yourself wherever you can early on and to kind of get in the habit of pushing yourself, but not overwhelming your schedule too much. So what I'm trying to say by that is maybe have it in your schedule where you have 1 or 2 classes that you know are going to challenge you. And you know that you're going to have to be putting in a little bit of that extra work to get where you want to be. But then maybe have, 3 or so other classes where you're still putting in a lot of work, but you're not absolutely overloading yourself. And then as you continue to move into your sophomore or junior or senior years, then you can be willing to kind of take more of those risks, obviously within reason. I think it's important as well to take those risks in the areas of academic study that you feel the most passionate about and that you feel are really going to help you in the college process. For instance, this year I'm taking 5 AP classes. One of the classes I had to switch early on in the year because I was going to take AP chemistry. I'm more of a humanities kind of girl. I love my English and my history classes. So I got into AP chemistry and I was feeling a little bit overwhelmed in the first couple of weeks. But then I just talked to my teachers and I was like, I don't think this is going to work for me. I already have a lot on my plate. So I decided to make the change from AP chemistry to AP environmental science. That kind of fit in more with what I wanted to do because I'm planning on majoring in political science. So I thought, oh, environmental issues are a really hot topic right now. That would probably be a good thing for me to study. So I think taking those risks and knowing that you're going to get something good out of those particular risks is important.
It's important for you not only to get a good GPA, but to get a good GPA in the most rigorous curriculum that you can handle. So in other words, staying sheltered in a really safe curriculum. What I mean by that is a curriculum that doesn't match what you're capable of doing. That's not going to impress any college. You need to take classes that are going to challenge you. Take that good risk. But note, as Haley so wisely just shared, that overdoing that risk and taking classes that are too difficult for you, that's going to be totally self-defeating. We help you to figure out the balance of your schedule at Steward. Haley mentioned talking to her teachers about her decision. The college counseling team also helps with those decisions, and each of you will have an academic advisor who will help with those decisions. I think it's a wonderful idea to talk to a member of the college counseling team each year of upper school before you set your schedule in stone, so that we can look at it from the college application perspective in terms of your goals and be able to tell you whether that schedule is a good one or not. Tip number 8, give friendships time to grow is important not only when you're transitioning into upper school, but also when you transition into college.
I would say that if you are getting involved in your extracurricular activities or even just academically being an active participant in class, then friends are going to find you. It'll happen really organically and naturally, just so long as you're being involved in the community. It's almost more difficult to not make friends than to make them. I've been attending Steward since the first grade, and I remember I would always be really excited for those years when you're entering the new divisions. And that was because I knew that there were going to be a ton of new people coming in and I would have the opportunity to make new friends. As soon as people come in, you almost forget that they were ever new. There are people who have been here since freshman year that it feels like they've been there since I've been there in first grade, and the same thing for people who came in sixth grade. So once you're in the Steward family, you really do feel like you're a part of it and you've been a part of it forever.
Number 9, be true to yourself. None of this matters if you are not remembering the values that you have and the things that are important to you. We want you to expand your mind and expand your world, but we also want you to be true and honest to the person who you are. And if that is the case, then all the rest of this kind of falls into place.
I think that's so true. And I think if you're being true to yourself academically in terms of knowing what areas you prefer to study and when you're crafting your schedule for the year and in your extracurricular life in terms of choosing which club you want to prioritize.
Tip number 10, visit college counseling. So one of the greatest things about my job is that I have the time to meet with students at all stages of their academic careers. So while I don't have too many conversations with lower school families, I do have them and I love to have them. I have tons of conversations with middle school families, and then particularly then upper schoolers. Of course, we really start to have those important conversations, not just about particular colleges, but about other goals and aspirations. It's so fun for me to start working with a student in 9th grade and to be able to watch them grow and change and develop and achieve and have those moments where they have some setbacks, but they navigate them and they get through it. At Steward, we don't make 9th grade or even 10th grade individual family meetings mandatory because we do recognize that not all students are ready to have those college conversations. And for some students, it would just be more detrimental than positive.
I have felt so supported and so loved and cared for throughout this entire process at Steward, and it has really made all the difference. I know in a lot of other schools, as soon as you're in your senior year, it kind of feels like you're being thrown right into the deep end, and that all of a sudden you have all of these things that you're having to manage and balance kind of by yourself. But that is definitely not the case at Steward. Like Ms. Jeter mentioned, you actually have a specific class solely dedicated to just going through your college application process, and it gives you time to work on your apps and ask questions. It's just made all the difference.
It's just a really fantastic collaborative process. We make sure that every application gets read top to bottom before a student submits it. Some schools say we're here if you need us. We're here whether you want us or not. So every student gets this help. It's not just the students who are, really self-driven and really motivated. We help every student in the class to achieve their college ambitions. And 100% of our students get accepted to a four-year college or university every year. I'll take that as a pretty good sign that what we're doing is working.